Okay, so ran into problem number 2. Basically, the way it was, the cables were too short to run the way that we wanted them. So we had to move the power supply over, moving the cables to this side. And then if you look down the front, the motherboard wasn't really, the motherboard tray wasn't really set up the way I wished it was. So I had to take the motherboard out, run this cable through, connect it, put the motherboard back down, connect it, and then run the cables again. So, yeah, you run into problems, but that's part of the fun in building computers, is finding the solutions. Yeah, it sucked that the tray wasn't really set up the way I build computers, because I usually put the power supply in last. But, you know, it's all a learning experience, even for me. So, power supply in first, in this case, for the Cougar mid-tower solution. And other than that, so far, so good. Go ahead and take the screw off over here, pop this up, and we can actually put the graphics card in now.
Graphics time.
Graphics time.
Alright.
It's definitely a good starter card. Alright. No, you don't want to take that one out. You want to take the one out. See right here where it's lined up right here?
Yeah.
So you want to take out the top one. So put this one back. Yeah, this is a slider, so you can actually slide this whole piece up like that. Or if you need to, just, I think you can take it out of the way. Yeah.
Yep.
Boom, just out of the way for now. And it's built this way for extra pressure, for heavier graphics cards to hold them in better, basically. So straight out. Alright, and this is where, go ahead and just be real careful, make sure you get everything lined up right, and then lock it into place. That's going to go on the inside. There you go, just like that. And if you're having trouble lining it up, you pull the plastic pieces out. Here.
It's not the right one. No, it's this one.
It is. Oh, it is? Oh,
no,
you're right. Okay.
It's that one.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I start going a little crooked. Alright, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, I got a bad angle.
There
Go ahead and slide that one up to the top, because you don't want an empty slot. They're all the same. You don't have to. They're interchangeable. You didn't have to put the same one back in the same spot.
You noticed.
Unless you got that OCD, man, then you know what? Do what makes you happy.
He noticed the OCD. The minor OCD.
I gotta put it back where it came from.
Alright, let's see. And right in the middle between the two of those, right?
If it helps too, you can look up at the camera. Oh no, you got it right in there. Is that going in okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Not that the card needs extra stability, it's good. I just like putting extra screws in just to make everything
nice and
fit better.
Yep, it's nice.
Alright, so there's that. Alright, so next, what you're going to do is you're going to take the SATA cable, or SATA cable. I would say SATA, I don't know why. But if you look, it's got a right angle on it. So this part goes in right down here.
Yep.
And I guess we can run it down through, and then we'll connect it in the SATA 1 spot.
Got it.
Alright, so go ahead and do that.
Right angle facing out.
Yep.
Like that.
Just going to make a click sound. Boom. And then
run this cord.
So stick it through the bottom slot, right? This slot right here.
This one?
Yep. And downwards.
Just run it down?
Yep, run it.
So back
you need
this
to lift
way.
the case
To the right?
a little bit.
Come back out this way.
Probably a little pointless to do it like this, but it's good practice for, you know, cable running and cable management. It'll probably look nicer in the long run. Don't worry about pulling it too tight. And then just connect it to the number 1 slot. You see it where it says Status 6 number 1?
Status 6 number 4, 2, and 1. It's right there.
Yep. So the little L, flip it over. There you go.
Guess one key point will be never to force anything.
Never force anything. Never ever.
Force it, you're wrong.
A lot of these cords are going to get tucked away. Okay. That's actually what we're worried about right now. So now,
Tough one.
yep. So if you look right here, there's a nice open spot.
Yep.
That we can hide all the extra cables so that your not only does your build look cleaner,
yep,
it'll help with airflow.
Right. And a lot of these cords are just what for?
These are Molex cables. These are kind of getting phased out. Okay. You can use those for fans or basically just about anything that still uses Molex.
Okay.
And then if you look at these ones, these are actually SATA power cables, and then Molex, which I said earlier. And then it even comes with two PCI slots for graphics cards, so you can have up to a 12-pin graphics card later on in your gaming situation. There's a big gap right here, so instead of going through these holes, I'm going to go through the side right here like that.
See it?
I'll flip it around so you catch it like that. And you got to be real careful because the walls on these are super thin, so that means they're even easier to break than pretty much everything else in the computer. Just kind of nudge it in there, and then you can kind of tuck that away. And it's not sleeved, so these cables are going to stand out a little bit more. So just however you can hide them to make them kind of disappear to make your build look better is always, well, to be redundant, it's better. It's always better to be better. All right, move that light. So pretty much everything's wired up now, but we still have this like octopus mess of cables. What you just do is fold this all up right here. Yeah, see, that'll fit perfect. Hidden, good and hidden right there.
Oh, so pretty.
See it right there?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, now comes our big wire runs, and our probably our most important wire runs. Everything on the front I/O panel. So here's everything on the front I/O panel. We're going to stick it back through where it came, so right up here. Alright, now we have everything ran back through. As you put it together, make sure to pull these tight. And then make sure everything lines up right, and then snap it all back together. Good. That looks good. Real quick. Just check to make sure that fan does not contact anything in here, so that's going to work out really well. I'd hate to put this all together and then turn it on and notice that the fan doesn't work. Alright, so everything pretty much is going to go through this tiny little hole right here. They were nice enough to, provide us with an adequate space. This is the USB 3.0 right here. This one's going to run through up here because it's actually right next to the power cord. Actually, no, I'll run it here. Yeah.
Same how many wires we can fit through that hole.
See, the reason I ran it down and up like that, because it'll actually, to run it straight down and up instead of right in, it'll actually make the cables lay more flat. Is it? Yeah, sure. Let's just say more flat, because I don't know if that's grammatically correct. Alright, so we have HD audio, which is right over here for AAFP, which I think it means audio front panel. You're going to want to watch too. See, there's a blank off right there?
Yep.
And there's a missing pin right in here. Let's see if you can see it. Right. Missing pin in it's basically top second from the right. So just make sure you line those up properly. And then USB, same deal, it's got a blank off and a missing pin, so we will spin this, install it right there.
And that's just going into the first port there.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter which one you plug it into. Because all it's going to do is it's going to make it so that the USB on the front of your computer, you know, works basically. We've got reset, or no, that's power switch. So that was right here. Bridged those ones earlier. Alright, so there's that. This one is power LED minus and power LED plus.
Which minus and plus is right there.
No, that's HD.
Plus.
If you look, you can see power LED plus and minus written on there. It's to the top.
Yep.
If you got really good vision, you know, it makes this easier. But yeah, Asus is one of the people that actually includes these kinds of things on their motherboard so that it's easier to read and find. Grab some extra light. Pins are hard to see. There we go. So that's all wired up properly now. Alright, so if you are OCD like me, one of the things that you can do to basically get some of the fan cables is untie it, unzip tie it, wrap it around the outside of the frame, stick it back up in like that. So yeah, wrap it around like that, and then connect it. It gives you somewhere to. It'll give you like a little spot to basically tuck away the cable if you need to. It's kind of like a lose-lose situation right here. It's not long enough to really tuck away, but it's not short enough for that technique to work perfectly. So there, that's about as good as it's gonna get. The motherboard and stuff doesn't really have places to hide that fan, but that's okay. It'll still work just fine. And then finally, the last thing we need to do is hook this up. If you look, USB 3.0 has a tab right here. There is a slot right there. See it? Yep. So that's going to go right here. Like that. One other final note, just so that I don't have to open this back up, I went ahead and finished up the wire routing. Got everything nice and flowy, put down as well as I can, and zip tied all together just so that it's as flat to the back of the case as I can get it, so that I can put the side panel on. So let's see how that works. There is a nice little, like, not a recess, but like, what's the opposite of recess, where it's popped out? So that way there's room for the cables. And then we'll just slide that in there. I think it's bulging a little. No, it looks fine. And then I'll go ahead and just throw the screws in. Let's see. Power is on. Do me the honors and push the power button.
Ooh, yeah, look at that.
Go ahead and look at the front. Yeah, matching blue right there. See blue and blue?
That's perfect.
Alright. See what the screen says. Select boot device for proper boot. Alright guys, this is where I'm going to take a break. We're going to have to hook up, and it's going to take pretty much all night to install Windows because, you know, that's just how updates go. And in the morning, we will show you the final build and how everything looks. So thanks for sticking with us. Alright guys, you're going to have to excuse me. I'm all sweaty. It gets hot in here. It's a small little office. 2 people building a computer, lights on for recording. It gets hot quick. So anyway, I've got a confession to make. Now, I do build a lot of computers without optical drives, and I say optical drives are obsolete, but I actually use an ancient external. This is still IDE cable, and it is a external drive that I use to load operating systems. Yes, you can do it with ISO files on a flash drive, but this is just what I have, and I have disks, and I'm lazy and don't want to transfer the files. So yeah, I say they're obsolete, but I still use them. It's a bit of a confession, but there are ways around it. I'm just lazy. Thanks for sticking with me through this incredibly long 2-part beginner's guide. I really appreciate it. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up on either portion of the video if it helped you, or if you liked the concept of a $600 beginner's build. I did my best to make it as cheap as possible. Make sure to check out my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Twitch. And this was a beginner's guide, Chanley style.